there, like, there's a lot of
It's,
collectors
well,
out
it's
there.
still going on.
Yeah, but I mean the old vintage one. There's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
not that many sets available.
No, they only made like 500 original sets.
Really?
But now there's so many, like they have color sets, and it's a huge game. Like they have conventions for it and everything else. So it's
Wow, and you're in the original set.
Yeah.
Like the only first ever indie wrestler. Man, that's something to
Oh,
call home to your mom about.
it was cool. Like I've got to do a few things because of it. Because of that game, I met some people. I've had 2 invites to OVW.
Oh wow.
To go to, I talked to Tom Pritchard on the phone twice.
Like,
Yeah.
were they doing like an autograph thing or something
No,
about it, or?
I met another guy through the game, and he wrestled at OVW. He was one of their enhancement talents.
Oh really?
And back then guys would always carry their video cassettes on them. Hey, this is my collection of video cassettes.
Yeah.
So I gave him my collection. He was like, oh, I'll hand it to our guys. And I got a call from them, and they're like, hey, we like you. You're a big guy. Because I'm a legit 6'5".
And they used to be the developmentals
pounds.
for WWF.
Yeah.
Like they groomed the guys and sent them up, right?
And they're going, you have some great matches and this and that, and come on down. And I told them, hey, I have SVT, which is regular heartbeat. And they're like, sorry, it's a no-go then. And this was about 4 years into it. Like I was wrestling probably 100 to 200 times a year.
Oh wow, like was this your full-time gig, or were you still doing a factory here and there?
I was still working in factory jobs, but every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I was wrestling in different promotions all over. I was just traveling. I wanted to get as much work in as possible.
Wow, man, that's awesome. So like you basically living the dream in a sense. Like not full-time. Everyone wants to be, that's their job full-time, but still, you're working every weekend. This is great. Now, when you first got into it, were your parents hesitant, especially knowing you're a regular heartbeat?
No, my mom was all for it.
Really?
And even if I wouldn't be on the show, she would still show up to RWA shows because she started following it. She loved it.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't know that. And then some of the guys come up, L'artiste and Custom Made Man, were like, "Hey, your mom was at the show." I'm like, "What?" I wasn't on that show. I was, at this place. And she's like, "Yeah, she was at the show. She was up cheering us and talked to us afterwards." And
wow. So like, did you have a group of guys that you'd travel in the car to do the shows, or would you just going by yourself? Or?
Mostly it was Colin Douglas and Billy Boogie and myself.
Oh wow.
And we travel, and it just depends on which promotion. When I was working EWF, my traveling partner was W.I.L.L.I.W.
Oh yes, just Joe in WWE, right?
Yeah, because he was dating a girl in Cambridge, so we both went to Cambridge, and we just traveled back and forth, and that's just the way it worked. Wrestlers are infamously cheap. So,
oh yeah, save money, and especially you're not getting huge paydays. You're not on TV yet, right?
I remember touring down to Tennessee, and 7 of us sharing a hotel room.
Yeah.
We all wanted to save money.
Of course, like that's how it. Even the WWF guys would do that. Like there's a lot of famous wrestlers like Mick Foley and people like that would do anything. Owen Hart would get rides from fans and stuff like that. So you're traveling every weekend doing the shows, and I was just gonna ask you, like, was it just local, or were you doing the States and stuff like that too? So
I got to do tours. The biggest probably match of my career is I got to wrestle for the ECW World Title once when Rhino was a champ.
Oh wow.
I ended up with concussion.
Was that like in the actual
Border
ECW
City.
arena?
No,
oh, it was Border City.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was for Border City.
Oh wow, for the title too. That's amazing.
Yep.
ECW was a big promoter. Like that when it was Scott D'Amore running it? Or?
Yeah, D'Amore was running.
Oh nice. So that's a good feather in your cap.
Oh, yeah,
You competed for that. It's a legendary title which is extinct now, right?
Yeah.
So you're living the dream, and like in my opinion, I don't know how you feel, but to me it's like you're wrestling every weekend. What could be better? So you're doing good for yourself, and did you end up so OVW said no, so did that start discouraging you? Because you're like, I might not be able to make it.
I started to slow it down, and then I ran into Iron Sheik wrestling in Detroit one time, and Sheik was, he goes, hey, you got a tape? He goes, I can give it to Vince.
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
Cut out the middleman.
He gives my tape, and the same thing. This is about a year or two later. I still get another call from Tom Pritchard. Hey, we'd like you to come to OVW, test it out. We like your size and everything. And, your matches are good. And I'm like, okay. I have SVT. I talked to you earlier. He's like, oh, kid. I'm like, it's under control with medication. I said, I still do all my matches. I said, I've done 45-minute matches. I had to do a 45-minute match once. Some wrestlers couldn't make it. And so there were a few wrestlers. So Ron Hutchinson asked me, he goes, hey, can you do 45? Sure.
Nice. So like, what about your doctor? Was the doctor saying, hey, you can't do any sports?
No, my doctor's, as
So I
long
wonder,
as it's under control with medication.
I wonder why they were so hesitant. I guess they just didn't want it in there, like
Yeah.
something happens to you and then they
No.
have their necks on the
And
line.
even if you have arrhythmia and stuff like that, you know, they just try to stay away, just cause it's your heart, you know.
Oh man, that's
And
so
so after the
disappointing.
second time, I just started to slowly pull back, and I'd wrestle a few times, you know, I'd cut it down from like, you know, 150, 200 times a year, down to the point where I was doing 50 times a year, and then 40, and then once a month.
Was it really discouraging though, like, cause you knew like you could make it and
Yeah.
and you should make it, and just this one like asterisk is keeping you from it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I went through 2 surgeries to try to correct it, and,
Oh
and
wow.
they couldn't, cause the thing that's twitching it is right beside the AV node, so unless I get a pacemaker.
Oh, okay.
stuck
Did you ever
in it.
consider doing that, or would that a pacemaker?
If I get a
really work?
pacemaker, I'm done.
Oh, okay, alright.
So, you know, I know I'm winding my career down, I've been doing it 21 years.
Man, and you have so many great stories. Thank you for sharing them on my show as well. But so like you're winding it down, and like, did you ever consider, hey, like maybe I should start my own promotion or start training people or anything like that though?
I've trained some people on the side, and I've done, not booking, but I've had a lot of guys come up to me, hey, you know, I have an idea for a match, do you have any ideas, you know, your input?
Yeah.
And I can draw a bunch of stuff, and I gave Eddie a great idea for a match, and he wants to use it.
Like kind of like an agent almost,
Yeah.
right? Oh, nice.
And so I have no problem doing that, any chance I can to help people out, cause I got a lot of help coming up, and, you know, I don't charge people for anything that I give, cause I got my training for free.
Oh yeah.
So if I give it back, I just pay it the same way.
See, I paid Ike $3,500, and then 2 months later, right before my first show, he charged me $1,200 for insurance, wrestler's insurance that didn't exist. So I ended up paying him like $4,700, and this is like 17 years ago. But I feel like everyone's like, "Oh, Ike scam me, Ike scam me." I actually feel like I did get my money's worth, because like I'm still wrestling to this day. I got trained by good people. I got on a lot of shows, and I lived at the school rent free for 2 years. So if
Yeah.
you just add all that up, I
That's
feel
perfect.
I technically got my money's worth. Whereas other people would leave after a month and there was no refund. So it's like it's up to you to make. Well, I mean, you got your training free, but you still made something of the training you got, right?
Yeah, we trained for 3 hours a day, 4 days a week.
Oh wow.
Like it was intense training.
So you said, like, how long was it before you got kicked out of the school? Was there
That
any other
was about
trainers that
6
came
months.
through there?
Yeah,
Other
we had Angelo Mosca used to come in, and I loved to meet him because, like I said, growing up, he was one of my idols. So I
Was
got
he
to
the
meet
guy
him.
that played on the Hamilton Tiger Cats?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
And he didn't get in the ring to talk, he talked more about ring psychology.
Which is the stuff, like, I never got taught that
Yeah.
stuff. I got trained, like, the chain wrestling and that kind of, and bumping. Whereas I didn't realize that stuff until later
and
on.
Sailor White, you know, he taught us the chain wrestling, and you know, and then he teaches ring psychology in the ring. Angelo, you know, taught us how to put a match together, and then Waldo a couple times popped in, you know, to give some pointers.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, it just became training on the road. Like I listened to anybody like Ron Hutchinson. You know.
And they say you learn a lot in the car rides too from some of the guys,
Yeah.
right? Like that's where you talk the business and stuff like that. Now I heard, did Angelo Mosco have TV? He had some kind of wrestling on TV, did he not? That Ike was gonna take over, or?
Yeah, and Angelo didn't have it. It was some TSN deal, and
Yeah.
Joe ended up blowing it for him.
Yeah, I've heard some story, but no one ever seems to know the full story.
Yeah.
But
That all happened prior to after I left.
oh, okay, all right. So like you're on the road and then you're winding down, but like during when you were at your prime, I guess, or maybe not your prime, but when you were wrestling the most and you were like full-time schedule almost, like every weekend book, what are some of your greatest memories, like the road trips and this and that?
Yeah, road trips. Just some of the guys, like some matches. I had great matches against Pete Rock.
Brock, I don't know. Is he Canadian or
Yeah, Pete actually wrestled for WCW and WWF.
as Pete Rock?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
He did dark matches and stuff for him. You know, like, there's a bunch of guys like Custom Made Man I thought was one of the best wrestlers out there.
He still is amazing, yeah.
And I always wanted to work him. For 20 years, we tried to get matches together, but we're always in different promotions, or we'd both be heels or both faces, so it would never work out. And it just never happened. But I loved watching that guy. And he actually was the one. I used to have all one-length hair, and I used to keep it in a ponytail when I wrestled. And I was wrestling a kid. It was his first match, and his name was Bud Miller, the frat boy. And he was terrified of his match. And I said, I'll take my hair out so I can talk to you.